Good evening. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm the Executive Director of A Knock at Midnight. A Knock at Midnight is located at 400 West 76th Street and Suite 206. As I say every Monday, it's great to be here. It's great to be in front of the viewing audience, talking about the things that's going on in our city, in our state, bringing some issues, bringing some questions to the audience by which you could call in at the call-in number in front of you, which is 312-738-1060. A Knock at Midnight. A Knock at Midnight, the framework behind our organization comes from a sermon titled by Dr. King, A Knock at Midnight, which he preached and is published in the book, A Strength to Love. By me being educated over the nuances of the civil rights movements for years, understanding conflict resolution and non-violence and non-violent resistance to evil by force, I have come to agree that America and the people that live in the impoverished communities of America need people like myself, need people like you that will come and go for them and bring hope, faith, and love into the lives of people. Our people are perishing due to a lack of knowledge, due to a lack of information, due to a lack of correct and righteous leadership. And so all of us need to be encouraged. All of us need to know that there are people that's working behind the scenes, because everybody's work does not get lifted up where all can see. There are many who are working in the trenches. There are many who are grinding in the interests of the people that have been disenfranchised and people who may not have as much as you do. As we enter this week of Thanksgiving, as we enter this week of being grateful, many of us need to just reflect on a moment on just exactly what are you grateful for? What are some of the things that you should be really happy about that are going on in your lives that could be much different? There are going to be many people who will not have the quote unquote formal Thanksgiving dinner, who would not even have company or not having people they can engage with on this week. There will be no visitors from out of town. There will be no myriad of dishes by which to choose from. And as we get ready to participate and partake in such an honorable and in such a glorious time as Thanksgiving, as a time to talk about being grateful, we need to show appreciation, because part of being grateful is to show appreciation for that which you have and to show appreciation for those who have been an integral part of your development as a person, an integral part of your development in your home, development of your children, the development of your community, the development of this city, this state, our nation, and this world. We have a lot that we need to be grateful for. And many of us, we don't really understand that in the dark hours of our lives, in the darkest hour when we know that truth and knowledge are the way, who is bringing that truth for you? Who is bringing the knowledge, that direction, that instruction, that encourages you, empowers you, and uplifts you to make your situation better, to change your condition, to amplify the sounds of your life from desolation and despair into happiness, and so to enjoyment, to a sense of freedom. And so we encourage everybody at this time to help somebody, to reach out to those that are less fortunate than you, to show some gratitude, some real appreciation, a real sense of being thankful, and reciprocate the kindness that has been shown to you so freely by showing some concern for those who are less fortunate than you. Take some food to a food pantry. Take something to the homeless people right there in your community. You don't even have to leave your community to know that there are people who are struggling, who look just like you. Reach out and help somebody, because we all can do that. As we move forward, and I was preparing for the show, I wanted to do something just a little bit different. I wanted to do a couple of thoughts for the day, and I'd like the viewing audience, I'd like for you to call and chime in on some of the thoughts for today. You know, as we listen to so many of the issues of our time, I would like to encourage people to dig deep and listen to what's going on around you. Fundamentally, what's wrong is everybody's talking and nobody's listening. And a perfect example is something that we've all been seeing for the last, couple of weeks, which is the issue with one of our leaders of the country, one of the leaders of our defense systems, one of the leaders of the Army, who had got caught up in some kind of what has been shown to us or promoted to us as some kind of sexual liaison or sexual tryst with some sisters or some women that was in his life. And I was listening to the news the other day, and it became apparent that what had been promoted, a lot of us had missed. One of the ladies involved in this whole thing, she was actually up for an $80 million payoff for a contract that she was working on for the defense, for some stuff for the Army, for some stuff for to defend this country. And I was saying to myself, wow, if I hadn't been listening, I probably would have went along to what had been reported to me as well. But I saw it from a different perspective when I realized that these people are playing for high stakes. This is a lot involved in what is going on. But as we only like and listen to stuff that is controversial, or stuff that's kind of seedy or kind of grimy, we miss the whole essence of what's going on. And so I want to bring up a couple of points in the same vein so that maybe we can look at this stuff just a little bit different. One of the major issues of the moment as we end 2012 and go into 2013 is going to be the mass closing of Chicago public schools. That is an issue. Whether we choose to deal with the issue or we let the issue fall by the wayside, there are some things on both sides of the coin that are absolutely correct. Many of these schools that have been targeted, sure they are in predominantly African American communities, probably 60%, maybe a little more. The percentage might be a little higher, but that's not the point. The point is, if we deal with the facts, are the schools underserving the community? Are the schools at a census level that predicts that if it stays at that level, it would be not fiscally responsible to keep these schools open? Is it true that some of the social ills in some of those same communities that we trump up when we start talking about gang issues and gang lines and this and that, and we make a lot of excuses and we make a lot of reasons, a lot of rationales why schools should close and why schools should not close, why it should be open, why it should remain open, what communities need, and what have you. And I would like to pose the question to parents of Chicago public school students, and I'd like for you to call into this show and give me your opinion, any parent that has a school in the Chicago public school system or anyone who has an interest in what it does. Now, the question that I want to pose, I'm going to pose it in this way. Parents, should you help students go to school, or should you stand by and watch the schools close? Should you help students get to school? Should you help students go to school? Should you maintain attendance of your own children at these schools? Or is it okay that you stand by and watch the schools close? Because the problem is an attendance issue. That is the problem. That is really, when you boil it all down and you take everything else into consideration, if nobody is there, what's the point? You know, and since we're not going to send the kids, we're going to cost many people their jobs. So we keep talking about jobs. Well, there are going to be a lot of jobs lost because nobody's in the building. There's going to be a lot of our support staff, teachers, administrators who will be fighting for their very existence and the ability to care for their families, simply because we have to ask the question. And this is the tough question because it's a simple question. As parents, do we stand by and watch our children not go to school, or do we stand by and watch the schools close? Again, my name is Minister Johnny Banks. The call-in number here is 312-738-1060. The reason I pose that question is at a knock at midnight, we're working with the school system to help the schools bring back as many young people as possible back into the school system. We need students in the seats. In a knock at midnight, we put boots on the ground. And we need parents to join us and assist us with helping us get these young people who are not engaged in the educational process, who are not going to school for whatever reason. If you are having a problem getting your child to school and you know they should be in these schools, high school and elementary school, give me a call. My name is Minister Johnny Banks. I can be reached at 773-488-2960. We have to get the students in the school to make the rational argument of keeping the school open. None of our communities need to be void of the history and the rich traditions of some of the schools. As grandparents and great grandparents and our forefathers, different people have come to these educational institutions, have graduated and tried to make some out of their lives, and now we're looking at those same schools where the census counts are dismal at best. And a lot of that is because many of those same young people, we are having 20% or better of our students who are not going to school. And if we can get those 20% back into a Chicago public school, then we can make the rational argument of why schools should not close. Because to make an irrational argument of we need it there for the community, but the community is not supporting the institution, that means that the institution has not failed, the community has failed. And we cannot go to sleep at the wheel at the education of our children, at the safety and security of some of our young people who the community school is the only school that they really can thrive in and be the best they can be in. And we need to really realize that as we start dealing with some of the social emotional learning issues, as we start dealing with some of the issues of violence and some of the issues of confusion that has contaminated some of our school institutions. And so I'm trying to be as simple as possible. Parents, do you stand by and watch the schools close? Or parents, do you help get the students in the school? Please call in. That's 312-738-1060. We'll take our first call. Call, are you there?
Yes.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm good. What is your question or comment?
Well, I was wondering about the qualifications of the teachers that are in these schools.
Okay.
Are they qualified to teach kids?
When you say qualified, what do you mean?
Do they graduate from teachers' college?
Well, that is a question that I will answer yes to, but I would also encourage any parent that you have a right to ask the principal or ask the administrators of a school what is the credentials of the person that's teaching your child. And this is what I'm talking about, is that when parents are not involved in the process, then we always have questions that have answers.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if it's just like if I was to release my child to you, not only should I ask who you are, not only should I have a phone number for you, but I should be interested in what is your expertise around the educational needs of my child.
Exactly.
And you should not be offended. You should readily be able to tell me what institution you graduated from, what is your degree in, what is your passion for teaching, why are you teaching. All those questions should freely flow from the loins of an educator.
You're right too.
You see, it's not that the teacher has to come by your house and show you that portfolio. It's for you to go to the school with your child and ask for the teacher and yourself to have a relationship by which you all can discuss what they know, what you don't know, and how you can help your own child.
Yeah,
and until we can get enough people asking those simple questions, then the simple question I'm posing won't make sense. Because as a father and as a parent, if I have a child that's school age that's at home at 8 or 9 o'clock, why would I be concerned about whether the school closed or not, and my child is not going anyway? So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So we spend a lot of time making an argument that really does not bring forth any fruit. It does not make sense. You understand what I'm saying, Carla?
I really do.
You know, and I really appreciate you for your question, because I think that is a valid question, and it's one that should be asked by all parents. To assume that based on the location of the school, and a lot of times that's what we do. We don't ask any questions. But I think our educators would be more than happy to divulge what's going on in their lives. We have another call on the line. Let's take another call. Call, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm fine. Okay, I am a parent that has been involved with my son since he was 2.5 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
Went to preschool.
Okay.
Okay, I had to go in and get my son IEP'd and everything for him to, progress. these people are lazy. They do not want to do their jobs.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And I understand what Rahm Emanuel is doing, making them be accountable.
Let me ask you a question before you hang up, caller. Could you tell everybody, all of us, what an IEP is?
It's an individual education plan. My son has ADHD and he has a learning disability.
Okay. And you, caller, you still with me?
Yes.
Okay. Because since I really enjoy when you guys call in, because not only does it give you a chance to say what you want to say, but give me a chance to ask a couple of questions as well. A young man or young lady with an IEP. What difficulties do they have in terms of being educated?
What I feel that my son is lacking in being, engaged.
Okay.
You see what I mean? They want him in a special education class, but my son does A1 work. My son was #1 at his school. He won a notebook in the ISAPs. So I know that it can be done. You see what I mean? You just have some teachers that don't want to do their job. I even had to threaten to sue before I can get the services for my son. Anytime they call, I'm there. I am there to see about my son. So it's parents out here that do for their kids. It's that these educators are not helping the parents do for the kids.
Okay, hey mom, let me ask you a question. Stick with me, okay? I'm gonna ask you another question. Now, in many respects, we got we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Okay.
Because as parents like you doing what you're supposed to, you own it. But at your school, how many students do you think go to your son's school?
I think about 500.
Let's say at 500. Have you been to a parent meeting at that school?
Oh yeah, I go. Yes, I go.
And when,
I am engaged.
Okay, now when you're there, just from your perspective, out of 500 students, when they call the parent meeting, give me a number you think might show up.
Those fools don't show up, but that's them.
No.
About my son.
Okay, now
can't worry about nobody else.
Now stay with me, mom. Stay with me, because you're doing the right thing. Okay, now this is the point I'm trying to make with the parents, right? Okay, we got you doing what you're supposed to. You at the parent meeting, you engage with your child's education. You got his individual education plan rolling. He has excelled beyond imagination.
Yes.
Right, but now you one voice out of 500. Now, what if we had 500 voices?
I understand what you're saying.
Can you imagine what your child's school would look like with 500 voices?
Okay, yeah, but I do also understand that that's not gonna never be possible. Y'all beating a dead horse.
Okay, then let me ask.
What I mean?
Because
what I have done and what I am doing is I'm finding other avenues. I'm looking now. In the 7th grade, I was looking for a better high school for my son. You see what I mean? So you have to get out there and fight and fight and fight.
Now, what you are doing, Mom, you are educating the rest of the parents. That's all I wanted you to do. It's not me. You are telling parents what they need to do.
Yes.
It's coming from the mouth of a parent. I thank God you called.
Okay.
Because it didn't have to come out of my mouth.
Okay.
It didn't have to sound like I'm being antagonistic or I'm being negative or I'm siding with this people, I'm siding with that people. No, I'm so grateful you called. Listen, my name is Minister Banks. My office number is 773 488 2960. If you could just give me a call tomorrow.
Okay.
And just let them know that you called the show. I told you to call.
Okay,
so we
wait a minute. I got shoot, I done messed up. I can't get the last of the number.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
Or, what I can do, let me see. Because I am engaged in my son's education because I know that he is ADHD and I know that there's a lot of stigma with that, but I don't want that to hinder my son.
Right. Now,
I know that he needs to do better.
Hey, Mom.
He can do better.
Hey, Mom. Now listen at this. I don't know if you know this or not. About 30% of Chicago public school students have an IEP. Now, if we had that 30% of parents engaged like you engaged, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Oh, I'm gonna make them do it.
That's what I'm talking
Cause
about.
they know when they hear me, when they see my face, they know it's that lady coming up in here. You know, she mean business, and they know I mean business. My son know I mean business.
Well, maybe
because Barack Obama ain't gonna be there forever.
Well, maybe people like myself and you, maybe we can get together, work through how do we work with other parents, and you can become the catalyst to help other parents work in the interest of their children around their education.
I can do only what I can.
Now, you sound like you got a movement in you.
Oh, no, you know what? I just don't play. I just don't play. You see what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
I just don't play. It's hard out there.
Call me, please.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, what is the number again?
773
773
488
488
2960.
2960.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you.
In your name?
I'm Minister Banks.
Minister Banks.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to talk tomorrow, okay?
Okay, I'm going to call you.
All right, you be blessed.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Let's take another call. Call, are you there?
Yes, Minister Banks, thanks for the show.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, what's your question or comment?
I got a comment here.
Okay.
My opinion is that some professions, especially teaching, and when you're dealing with children, and especially young children, I think that what's missing that a lot of the teachers, unions, mayor, and everybody else misses, because they see it as a profession, a job, you know. I think the one thing that you're missing is some of these professions call for love.
Okay.
And I don't care what your degree is, whether you have a degree, don't have a degree, all of that. If you don't have that love to teach and that love to help, I think you'll go through it as if it's a job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you won't be the same. You won't put forth the same kindness, patience, carefulness that only love can bring forth.
Absolutely.
And I think that, when you go out on strike and you want more money and parents want their children to graduate and move from one level to the other, they don't really check the teachers to see if they're teaching with love.
Okay.
And I think that's what we're missing. If you put love in there...
Well, let me ask you a question. How can the parent check the teacher if the parent does not go where the teacher is? The parent has to go where the teacher is. Am I right?
Say we have a problem that parents don't do that.
Okay.
Then we have to attack that and find out is there a way we can find out if teachers have love, even though the parents don't have the time, don't have the inclinations to check for it themselves.
Okay, well listen, hold that. I'm gonna take another call, and I'm gonna get right back to that. Call, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
I'm here. Hello.
I'm good. You here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, what's your question or comment? You on the line? Yeah, you on the line. We're listening.
My comment is that a lot of our parents, and it's shaming to see their focus, and they believe the initial teacher strike was around getting more personal funding. But as a parent of a student who goes to an inner city school, the initial fight was to get the same funding that the schools on the north side have, and more privileged and more financially stable neighborhoods have the equality across the board. No one's holding them accountable.
Okay, well,
it's not.
Okay, go again. You're going in and out on me, caller. But I'm gonna respond to what I heard, and what I'm gonna respond to of what I heard you say is this: nobody are the parents. We keep looking for somebody to hold them accountable outside of those people who are sending these kids to school every day. We can change it. We can strengthen it. We can make it better when parents understand the curriculums that are being taught to their children, when they're engaged in what type of curriculums fit the future of their children, when they are engaged in assisting and helping teachers teach their children at home, when you engaged in the educational process, you don't look anywhere else for any assistance. It comes right out of you. Even those of us who may not be very astute at what education is or what education is not. If we're participating, we can learn. But it does not seem to be one of those things that's high on our boilerplate. But I do believe there was a time when those parents who did not have an education knew the value of one for their children. It seemed like we're at a time now where many, I'm not saying all, many parents are moving away from the value of an education versus the hoopla of a graduation. And so we're selling for graduation with no education. And that is a tragedy and a travesty within itself. Listen, our time goes really fast. This was a great show. I really love. Thank each and every caller. You're watching Knock at Midnight. My name is Minister Johnny Banks Sr. I'm the Executive Director. You can call us at 773-488-2960. Like I say, our show goes very fast. And always remember, in the darkest hour, truth and knowledge are the way. Good night, and God bless you.